Welcome to another episode of Retrotopia. My name is Brian, one half of your dynamic duo of podcast hosts for this retro video game podcast. And with me always is the man from down under the Canadian-US border, that is Sam. And he's going to tell us what we're playing today.
Hey, this week we are talking Illusion of Gaia for the Super Nintendo. Or is it Gaia?
Gaia? It's whatever you want. Follow your heart.
It's I of G.
Yeah, there you go. IOG.
IOG.
That's probably an acronym for something dirty.
I hope so.
Oh, yeah, really, right? Oh, man. So how have you been, buddy?
Oh, not so bad. It is, it's warming up here. It's baseball season. So I have been fortunate enough to attend a few Brewers games here in wonderful Milwaukee. How are you?
I'm not bad. The temperature's fluctuating here. We have a warm day, then it rains when there's any chance to sit outside, and then it goes back to being warm again when you have no opportunity. Then it starts getting freezing cold. Well, not freezing, but really cold when you have a chance to sit outside again. So,
yep.
Basically, been stuck inside for the last week and a half. No baseball games though. None.
No baseball games. None for you.
I've just been watching like these kids struggle. I think they're called the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Yeah.
Yeah. As they barely hold on, as they get their ass completely handed to them. Oh, well, it is what it is.
Except for last night. You gotta believe, buddy. You gotta believe.
Oh, I keep telling you, 7 games, third period, 15-0, 5 minutes left to go. They lose 16-15, as is tradition. You don't fuck with tradition.
As is tradition.
Yeah. All right, we got some comments here too to start out the show. Do you want to take us away? Because the first comment really says Sam.
This might be for me. Yeah, Pickle says beagles are nice. Yes, they are.
Great comment, Pickle. Great comment.
Nice. If you want to see pictures of beagles, you should join our Discord.
You should, and we'll get to that in a minute. Because right now we have my good buddy Mick G, and he says, "I was thinking." We should drink. Well, I'd have a drink. Sam, will you have a drink?
Well, I can't believe we aren't having a drink right now. Alan, you have a drink?
I'd have a drink. Discord, you have a drink?
Awesome. I hope that worked out in editing.
Right. And then we'll sit back and just watch the Discord explode.
Again, as it's turned into our little thing is a little bit of letter Kenny.
Yeah.
All right, that's our comments. That's it. That's all we got this week. Everybody decided to abandon us. Nobody cares about Illusion of Gaia like I do. So, nuts to you all.
We had comments, didn't we, about the game? Well, I mean, we're
not there yet.
Yeah, we're not there yet. These are just general comments. We had a couple. It's fine.
Yeah, we'll get there. We'll get there eventually. I mean, this is going to be a pretty short intro, so we'll get right into the game chat here in a minute, just after you give us a little hint of where you can join in on the conversation.
Yeah, if you'd like to join us, you can do so at Linktree, linktr.ee/Retrotopia, and that's where you'll find the links to our socials and, most importantly, our Discord, which is a fun place that you can join in on our conversation, hang out with our folks that are in there. It's a fun time.
And see pictures of beagles.
You see pictures of beagles. You can comment on episodes. You can chat with us. It's
chat with the community. I mean, it's growing steadily, so we're happy about that, and we hope to see you there.
Yeah. So, what have you been playing this week? Anything fun?
Oh my god, I'm playing Balatro again, and there's different types of decks in the game, and I'm stuck on the first one, the red deck. I can't beat it for the life of me, and it's pissing me off, and I refuse to move on until I beat it.
That, gosh, it's like I've got the Slay the Spire is a fun little roguelike deck builder, and I've got Dicey Dungeons for that kind of scratches that itch too, and it's like, God, this Balatro thing is like, it keeps coming up. I tell you.
Oh yeah, it's a great game. You definitely spend your money wisely if you get that game.
Yeah, I might have to add it to my wish list. That might be a thing to play on Steam Deck.
Yeah, the only other things I've been playing is I played Cobra Triangle today for a different thing. Finished off Breath of Fire 2. Fuck that game. If you want to hear my thoughts on that, I'm recording with Danny Carroll of Retro Wars about that game, and I'm going to let him have it. And finally, I started GoldenEye because that's an upcoming episode.
Cool, man.
Yeah, what have you been playing?
I have been playing GoldenEye for sure. Just before we were recording this, I was trying to beat the train on Secret Agent, and man, if there's a way that I probably should have done something a little more relaxing. So, like,
Oh yeah, that game is like I don't want to get too deep into it right now,
yeah,
but that N64 controller does not hold up.
no, it's actually I've been having a cleaner control experience with the whatever Hori controllers that I have on my Switch for retro gaming handheld, and that's been working pretty good. But I may or may not have emptied an entire 9mm clip into a Janus agent in frustration when I was getting like fucked around a little bit. He was already dead and just doing the animation, and I just let him have it.
Oh, that's what it's about. Unbridled murder.
Yeah. Um, but aside from that, I have been playing a bit of Horizon on the PS5. I've been trying to fit in a little bit of Final Fantasy VII Remake because I'm very far behind on that.
Yeah, there was
And
a
then,
pandemic that happened when that came out.
yeah, but that's a great game. Wait, are you talking remake or
Yeah,
Horizon? Yeah, remake.
remake.
Yeah,
Remake came out actually was when we got sent home for the pandemic. It
that's
came out
right.
in April.
That's right.
It was the first game I got to sit down and play in like 3 days. It was beautiful.
Well, I'm slowly making my way through those, but I also picked up on my Steam Deck. I was listening to Retro Hangover a couple weeks ago, and one of their guests, Ozzy, had mentioned this game called Saviorless, which is kind of a cool little indie platformer from a developer in Cuba, and I thought that was pretty interesting. And the it's not an extremely expensive game, so I picked it up on my Steam Deck and was playing it, and it's pretty fun. I would call it more of like a puzzle platformer, not really like a Metroidvania or a. There's not a lot of backtracking or exploring or anything. It's pretty linear, but story is weird. But the art style is really, really cool, and some of the puzzles are kind of fun. So, if you are looking for something new to try, that's not a very long game. Saviorless is pretty cool. I'll give it a plug.
All right, there you go. And that is Sam's game recommendation of the week.
Oh, let's not hold me to that every week.
Oh, absolutely not. I hold you to nothing. You showed up. When you show up, I consider that our victory for the week.
Yeah, like I have to now like throw an indie game on top of whatever I'm playing so that I can talk about it for 2 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's awesome. I like it. Let's do
Commit
it.
to the bit.
Yeah, seriously, you got to commit to something. God. Anyways, so let's just move on before we just end up doing nothing for the next 30 minutes.
Yeah, let's get to this game. I'm excited to talk about this one.
Before we get to the game, as always, we have our good friend Alan from Britain give us the gentleman's interlude.
Ah, my esteemed compatriots, allow me to regale you with the narrative of one of the most fascinating creations to grace the realm of digital entertainment, Illusion of Gaia. Known in PAL regions as Illusion of Time, this enchanting masterpiece emerged from the depths of the Super Nintendo Entertainment System in North America on September 1st, 1994. Crafted with meticulous artistry by the venerable hands of Quintet, a revered assembly of virtuosic developers hailing from Japan, this opus found its home under the stewardship of the esteemed Enix Corporation, known for curating experiences of unparalleled excellence. Illusion of Gaia is an integral cornerstone within the pantheon of gaming, forming a link within the Soul Blazer trilogy. Its narrative unfolds with the grace of a finely orchestrated sonnet, weaving a tapestry of intrigue and wonder that captivates the hearts and minds of all who dare venture into its realms. In this masterwork, players assume the guise of Will, a young lad endowed with remarkable abilities. Joined by a cohort of companions, each possessing unique talents and quirks, Will embarks on an odyssey of self-discovery and redemption, traversing wondrous and perilous lands in search of truth and salvation. Akin to the Legend of Zelda style, the gameplay mechanics blend action, adventure, and role-playing seamlessly. Exploration of historical locales, each brimming with secrets and challenges, is punctuated by exhilarating combat encounters and thought-provoking puzzles, ensnaring the senses in a spell of ceaseless fascination. Critics and connoisseurs alike praised Illusion of Gaia upon its debut, showering it with accolades and praise akin to a shower of rose petals upon a victorious hero. Its narrative depth, evocative visuals, and hauntingly melodic score enraptured audiences, leaving its mark upon the annals of gaming history forevermore. Yet it is not solely within the realm of critical acclaim that Illusion of Gaia finds its acclaim. Nay, its true legacy lies within the hearts of those who bore witness to its majesty, who embarked upon its journey and emerged forever changed by the experience. For in the grand tapestry of life, few tales resonate with such timeless resonance as Illusion of Gaia's. Thus, let us raise our goblets in tribute to this luminous gem of yore, a testament to the boundless creativity and ingenuity of those who dare to dream. May its legacy endure for aeons hence, a guiding beacon amidst the ever-shifting currents of time and memory.
We do have some comments that are less racy than the ones we're talking about here, and I'm going to let you go first, Sam.
Sure. This is Pickle again. I'm reading all your comments today, buddy. Pickle says, it's about time you covered this masterpiece of a game. Much better use of your SNES than that silly kids game Time Toggle.
I love it. You mentioned once that you like Chrono Trigger in our Discord there, and all of a sudden now it's whittled down to Time Toggle.
It is, yeah, it is now called Time Toggle.
And that is Retrotopia canon. My favorite game of all time is called Time Toggle.
Yep. Oh, I've been playing that a little bit more too. It's
we're done that section. It's too late. You can't play.
Sorry.
Throw it out.
I can't. Okay.
All right. So, do you have anything to say to Pickle besides, hey, buddy, what's up?
No, what's up, buddy? It is a masterpiece. I like this game.
Oh, this game is fantastic, and we'll get into that. And right after I talk about the comment from Zodiac, he says a great game by Quintet with a slightly weird translation, great puzzles and difficulty, unless you're fighting vampires and that poor pig. And we're going to get into both of those.
Yeah.
So I'm going to leave that comment alone, and just we'll get into it when we get into it.
All right. And our last comment comes from McG, who says, I heard this is a game. Neat.
Great comment again from McG. Love you, man.
Yep.
I hope you fix that thing that's wrong with your you-know-what wink.
It is a neat game, though.
It is a neat game, yeah. All right, let's... shit, I fucked around with stuff. Whoops. All right, so let's get into the game itself. So let's start with the question we always ask. Why did we choose this game? Sam, I know I chose the game as the RPG this time, but why did you let me do it?
Well, actually, you were pretty excited about covering all of the Quintet games. How many are there? Like 5, 6?
There's ActRaiser. ActRaiser 2 can go fuck itself.
Yeah.
Soul Blazer, which I probably am willing to skip. This game, Terra Enigma, and Grand Stream Saga are the games I want to cover.
That's the Grand Stream Saga is the one that's on the PlayStation, right?
Yeah. There's also Robotrek, but again, that game can go fuck itself.
Okay. So you got like a couple solid ones, and the rest can go fuck themselves.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, you had a few of these Quintet games kind of earmarked for episodes right away for sure. And the first one was ActRaiser, which was a fun game. And yeah, I mean, no objections here. Playing a game that was, has some shares DNA with ActRaiser, because that game was really fun.
Yeah, and there's a I'm not going to say big influences between the games, but you can kind of see where they came from and where they are when you get to this game.
Oh, for sure. Like the health bar, like the little heads up display, it looks exactly like
Oh,
um,
absolutely, yeah.
the ActRaiser one. Like some of the sound effects are very, very similar, if not pulled directly from ActRaiser. Some of the just designs of, especially like I thought when you turn into Freedan or whatever, um,
The night.
the knight, like the hair metal singer, he definitely gave me like some ActRaiser vibes. Just that same art style, graphical style.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's exactly why I kind of played this game. I played ActRaiser first, and this game, I had it when I was a kid. I think I rented it at first, and then I ran out and bought it because it's a Zelda like more than it's a standard RPG. So it's an action RPG
Yeah.
by its genre name, but it's it's just fun. No random encounters. You just kind of run through and you
Hmm.
beat up all the enemies in an area. Then you can go back and explore if you want. So it's I just found it insanely fun, and I love the story of it too.
Yeah. And I love how it will, as you're dungeon crawling or anywhere that there's enemies on screen, it'll tell you how many are there, and if you're close enough to them, the map or the it's not really a map, it's just kind of a display that you can pull up, and if you're near them, it kind of acts like a radar for your general vicinity, and you can kind of tell where they are. So that's been helpful, especially in the
Yeah.
pyramid, man.
All
Holy
right.
cow.
Before we get into all the
Yeah.
spoilers here,
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
so yeah, just go quickly over the game itself. It was developed by Quintet, as we already mentioned, published by Enix, famous for their Dragon Quest or Dragon Warrior series at the time for the Super Nintendo. And it was released in September 2 or 1994 on September 26th, and then it was released in 1995 June 21st under the name Time of Illusion of Time in the
Hmm.
EU, and it is a action role playing game. So that is the data that you probably already heard, and you just heard again if I could get through it without stammering.
You heard it better from Alan, probably.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I
All right, so
just turned it off after that.
yeah. So the plot of this game is very simple. You're a young boy named Will, and your father, a year before the game starts, went to the Tower of Babel, where he disappeared, and you somehow made it back to the, I guess, starting town or your hometown there, where you're now raised by your grandma and grandpa,
Yep.
Grandpa Bill and Grandma Lola. Uh, so you get summoned to the castle, where the king, what's his nuts? God, I can't remember his name.
Yeah, it's
Anyways,
like so long ago, and those characters don't come back that I just
yeah,
kind of forgot them.
that's right. His name is King Edward, and he summons you to the castle because he thinks you have something of your father's that he really wants, so he can get ultimate power.
Hmm.
Along the way, you meet his daughter Kara, the princess, and the adventure starts. One thing I like about a lot of this game is it's very historically based. So King Edward is kind of like King Edward of Britain.
Yeah.
So when I always saw him, I'd always read the text with a British accent.
Oh, British. Neither of
Oh,
us sounded British just
cheerio!
there.
No, no.
I do like how I mean, if you're talking Final Fantasy or Dragon Quest, those games really don't take place on Earth as we know it. There's not references to actual, earthly um what am I looking for here? Like wonders of the world or like monuments or cultures or anything. And the
Yeah.
ActRaiser and um, this game both did that. Like where you're going to the Great Wall of China, you're going to pyramids, and just it was cool. It was like, oh,
Well, this
so the,
game
yeah,
is very much more based around the real world. It's just kind of a different real world that gets reshaped by the end of it. And you're going through all the ancient, like the
yeah.
Naztecs, the God, what are their names?
Well, it was
The
the Inca.
Incans, yeah,
Yeah,
Incans, the Nazcas, Naz or Aztecs. Sorry, fuck, not Naztecs, Aztecs.
Yeah,
I have this all written down. I swear. You go
there's
to
like
Angkor Wat, the Great Pyramid, the like you said, the Great Wall of China, all these different places that are
yeah.
actually places in the real world, and you explore them. So,
Even they even have Mu or Mew or whatever that
oh
um
yes, they do.
and that's like a basically like a lost continent or whatever that's
But you find it.
not really a real thing, but I guess there were some folks that, or maybe some people that still do thought that
Yeah.
there was a lost continent called Lemuria or Mu, and that was kind of a cool little thing that they had in there.
Oh, that was. Let's get into the characters so that
Yeah.
we don't have to sit there and explain every character that we talk about. Um, so, starting with Will, he's your only playable character. He transforms into Frieden, the Dark Knight, and eventually Shadow,
Mm-hmm.
the Shadow.
Yeah, Shadow rules.
Oh, he does. Oh, fucking super powerful.
Yeah,
Um, Nice thing about Will's character is the animation on the sprite for him. Like he has his hair that'll blow in the wind in certain
yeah,
levels and certain parts, and I always found that to be a neat little attention to detail.
yeah. I like that.
But it's also useful in some levels when you have to find walls that are like have hidden pathways.
Yeah, like when you use your kinesis power or whatever, his hair will blow, but also there's cracks in the walls, different places, and like air is blowing through, and his hair
Yeah,
blows. It's pretty cool.
and speaking of the kinesis power, that's the other thing. Is Will has a flute as his weapon there, and he'll just spin it around, and he can draw things towards him. Uh,
Yeah,
that
I didn't
is useful
realize
in
it
the
was a
puzzle.
flute. I
It
thought
is
it
a
was like
flute,
a
yeah.
little. I thought it was like a little dagger or like a stick or something.
What do you think he's playing when he plays those songs, like the skin flute?
Yeah, I guess. I mean, I wasn't paying that much attention to it until like I was almost done the game, and you're like, oh, that's his flute. It's like he's
Like
just
he literally stands there and he plays it like a flute right in the beginning of the game when you play that first song.
yeah, I know, but he's just like walking around smacking everyone with a flute.
Of course. Have you ever fought a flutist? Flautist, I
uh,
think they're called.
Flautist.
Yes. Have you ever fought one? The answer
No,
is no, because you're too scared to. I know.
because they're gonna smack you at the flute.
Exactly. All right. So Will has four friends. He has Eric, who's just a kid. Uh, Nothing special about him. He just kind of
Yeah.
disappears near the end. Lance, I guess his Lance's father went with Will's father to the Tower of Babel. Lance will eventually find him throughout the course of the game there, and that's where he departs from your party.
Mm-hmm.
Lily is a girl from Itori Village. She's a descendant of the Incan people, and she turns into what looks like a dandelion.
Yeah, like when you blow the little
Yeah,
seeds
the
off the
white parts.
dandelion.
When you blow the dandelion, you whore. You have Seth, who disappears early in the game. He gets swallowed by a fish. We'll get into that part as well because that's a big part of the game. And Neil, who is the cousin and eventually the president of the big Rolex trading company, who plays a big part in the game's plot.
Yes.
Uh, any character that you liked or disliked?
No, I didn't care about any of these characters.
Jesus Christ, man.
It was like the story is just kind of there. I really enjoyed the gameplay more. So there were points, slow points with like character development and some story elements where I was a little bored and I just wanted to get to the next.
See, I'm a big fan of storytelling, so that's why I play RPGs a lot. Is
Yeah,
the better the story, the better the experience I have. And this game has one of the best, like you said, character developments and plot developments I've seen on the Super Nintendo.
yeah. I'm not to take away from the depth of it or anything. I just at times I got a little bored because you had to do very specific things or talk to people in a very specific order in order to advance the story to get to the next
Yeah,
dungeon or whatever else next thing you needed to do. But that's a minor critique. So yeah, no, I didn't really care about any of these characters.
I guess we'll never get on the same page on that one because I cried for them all except for Eric. Fuck Eric.
Did you really? I'm
No,
sorry. I'm so sorry.
no, no.
Um, I
I
did
just
like
go
here. I'll say one nice thing. I did. Kara the princess really does kind of evolve throughout the story in a nice way, where she's kind of a spoiled. She's spoiled, but I don't know if it's really necessarily her fault. I mean, she grew up in a palace or whatever, so she's kind of a difficult character for the group to deal with because she's used to certain things. And like,
yeah.
there's a point where you get stuck with her on a raft, and I think that, and there's a couple other things that happen that kind of develop her into more of um,
Likable
a
character.
resilient and likable character, I would say too.
Yeah, that's the biggest character development. Like even Will didn't have that big of a character development, but she completely changed who she was and kind of accepted that the world is not what she saw from the palace.
Yeah.
Side characters in this game, you have Olin, who's Will's father. He speaks through the flute a few times, but you don't actually find him until the very end when you find his bones because he's dead. Grandpa Bill and Grandma Lola, they're only there for the beginning of the game to kind of set you off.
Hmm.
King Edward for 10 seconds, he's a dickbag and the father of character. The Jackal, which I'm going to get into later, but he was basically the most useless character in the game.
Yeah, I thought the Jackal was going to be like he's following you through
Yeah.
several towns, and I was like, oh, I'm gonna have to fight this guy, and then
Yeah,
he's
this
like,
dude sounds dangerous, man. There's fucking pictures on the wall of him and shit, and it's like,
yeah,
no. But
no,
we'll get into that. Let's save that one.
yeah,
Then you finally have a guy named Gem the Jeweler, and Gem the Jeweler. Throughout the game, you'll find these red gems in various locations, hidden in pots, dungeons, and treasure chests, and all that kind of stuff. People will give you red gems, and you send them all to Gem the Jeweler. And as you get collect them, he'll give you rewards, including powers for your different forms. And eventually, if you find them all, he has something called Gem's Secret.
mm-hmm.
I think it's just called Secret on the screen, but I'm going to save that for closer to the end of the podcast. But the secret is actually really neat.
Oh, did you find all? I didn't find all of them.
Oh, I've done it before, not through
Okay,
this my last playthrough,
yeah.
but I know exactly what the secret is.
Some of those red gems were hidden in some pretty unique and clever places.
Oh yeah, like the last red gem is on the last level, and if you want to actually use it and find the secret there, you have to leave the Tower of Babel and go back and find the gem guy.
I think that kind of sucks, actually.
Well, it's like I said, it's a secret level, right?
Well, I know, but it's like you're already in the final place. Like I wouldn't think to
Yeah.
leave that place if I didn't absolutely have
Well,
to.
I'm here anyways. I might as well
Yeah.
just save the world. God.
Well, anyways, yeah. I mean,
Yeah. There's different villains, but we'll get into the villains when we get into the kind of the levels there.
yeah.
Out of all of them, like there's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 villains. Any of them you really like or hate?
The vampires fuck me around quite a
Oh
bit.
yeah, Jack and
Um,
Sylvana. Actually, they fucked me around in the Tower of Babel for the first time in my life. This last playthrough.
yeah, it was they're faster and the so basically you fight them whenever there's whenever you face a boss throughout the progression of the game, obviously, but then there's a boss rush at the end, or kind of a boss rush, I
It's
guess.
a
But
boss rush.
you have to fight Jack and Sylvana, and then I think, I mean, there's a point where you can save in the Tower of Babel before you get
There's a
all the
couple
way
of
through.
points. Yeah.
Yeah, but there is one point where it's like you save, and then you have to like fight Jack and Sylvana and Sandfanger and I think Mummy Queen before there's another save point.
Yeah.
That was
But
tough.
Sandfanger and Mummy Queen aren't that hard.
No, Mummy Queen I had a little bit of trouble with, but I think once I could use, well, you fight him with what's that? What's that thing's name? Oh, Shadow. You fight Mummy Queen
Yeah.
with Shadow both times, I think.
Yeah, you do.
Okay, yeah.
All right, so we kind of gone into the names of the enemies without really explaining them. So let's
Yeah,
kind of go back. So let's explain the enemies here.
yeah,
So the first one you have from the Incan ruins is Castoth. Um, this guy is he's difficult in the sense that you don't have a lot of room to move around, but if you just
yeah.
take your time, he's not that hard. But you fight him as well, I think. No, this guy might have been the first time he got freed in.
Yeah. I think you get free Dan, and then it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, the difficult part for me, although the first time you fight him, you can just kind of stand up in the pocket
Yeah,
and take
and
swings at him.
he's in a big pit in the middle of the room, and his hands come out, and you have like two. I guess if you call them squares, like in Mario, where everything's block size, you have two blocks
Yeah,
of movement to get to him, and then you have to dodge a fire snake that goes across the screen, and the little fire triangle circles that he fires that bounce off the walls for a minute or so.
yeah. To be honest, I didn't even. As long as I was saved and healed up, and I had upgraded myself as much as I could to that point. I didn't even really try to dodge that much.
No, I dodged what I could, and then I just kept hitting him. And you take the hands up in like 2, 3 shots there, and then he opens himself up, and it takes maybe 2 to 3 cycles to actually beat him. He's not hard. It's just if
Yeah.
you don't know what you're doing the first time, yeah, you can get yourself caught like half your health gone before you even start.
Yeah. That one wasn't too bad though.
Yeah. Next one we have is Viper. Uh, he's a flying head in
Yeah, that was a weird one.
yeah, he's in the Nazcan Sky Garden ruins.
Yeah, pretty easy.
Yeah, he just flies down at you, dodge and hit, dodge and hit. Then you go to Jack and Sylvana, the Moo vampires. These are dicks. They will have an attack that works together where they fire a big energy blast at you and it goes over all the obstacles and hits you. Otherwise, you have to chase them and then they'll shoot little I guess, fireballs
Yep.
across and then down the path because everything's like a grid path.
Yeah, you're
You
in
got to,
basically like a crypt and you have to like
yeah,
run between the coffins and try to catch them before they unleash their attacks.
yeah, and you got to get out of their way. The best strategy I found on this is just take one out first. Take your time. Once you get rid of one, the other one's not that hard.
Yeah, I focused on and you're on a timer. I think wasn't there
Yeah, Eric's strapped to a bomb. Fucking
that's right.
useless Eric.
So fucking weird. It's like a bomb. Like what?
Yeah, we're
But anyways,
vampires.
yeah.
Blah. We're going to blow you up.
Yeah. I focused on Jack first cuz he had a his fireball attack went vertical and horizontal in like a cross pattern. But Sylvana, I think just went vertical, if I'm not mistaken, and she was a little bit quicker, but she didn't do as much damage.
I don't know. I just focused on whichever one was on the right, and I believe it was Jack as well.
Yeah,
I just chase them around, and like when you hit them, they get that little shield that circles around them. So you just got to step away for a minute, and then you just again follow the path, stay in the in between areas, and then hit them when you have a chance. It wasn't hard, but you know, first time took me 1 try. At the end of the game on the boss rush, took me 3 tries.
yeah, and I think it's easy to it's one of those things where when you beat it, it's like, oh, that wasn't so bad, but you know that if you slip up a little bit, you can end up down in the hole pretty quick because um, I would be doing just fine, and then all of a sudden get hit with that combined attack of theirs
Yeah,
that
and your
does
healing
quite a bit
items,
of
it's
damage.
there's a finite amount of healing items in the game, and you can't just buy them. So using them is I don't really call it an option in the early game, but if
Yeah.
I have to, I will. I just when you get to the end of the game, the more healing items you have, the better.
Yeah, I didn't realize that they would be finite. And so I had used all the ones that I had by the time I got to the end. So I was like, okay, well, I guess I'm just going to press on.
That's what you got to do. So next enemy is the Sandfanger. He's at the Great Wall of China. He's a worm monster that does what worm monsters do. He comes out of the sand and he does the arcing attack, and then he pops his head out, and then you can whack him off there and whack off the worm, and he'll
that
spit
one
out
was
some eggs.
that one was pretty easy as long as when it was laying eggs, you just got to make sure to kill those little fuckers before they you know they accumulate, right? They just can, if you don't kill all of them and then Sandfinger comes through and lays more eggs and then there's more, it's like there's just a bunch of little enemies that could potentially come up
Yeah,
and ruin your day.
you have to fight him as Will too, and Will is the weakest of all your characters. And
Yeah, I think that one just took a while because like
yeah,
every time you hit or had an opportunity to hit Sandfinger, it would do like just a little tiny bit of damage.
yeah. So it took more time than effort. Next up, before we get to the big bad bosses, like the final bosses, is the Mummy Queen, and she's in the pyramid. She's kind of, you have 2 levels in this one where you can teleport up or jump down, and
Yeah.
she just kind of flies around. If you hit her, she turns into these spirits, different types. They'll come around in a circle. The first one will kind of group in on you, and the second one will fly around in a circle where you have to hit the one that's not transparent. And again, the trick for this one was when the spirits were coming near you, you'd hit either the teleport or jump down. That would make you invincible while you're
Yeah.
in the air, and that's how you dodge them.
Yeah, this one took me a while to kind of get the best pattern for it, but yeah, I would hit the mummy and then I would like teleport up and then jump down so that I wouldn't get hurt by stuff that was flying around the screen.
Yeah, and the final two bosses are Chaos Comet and Dark Gaia. I'm not going to get too deep into it in case you want to play the game, but the Chaos Comet is the whole reason of the game, and pretty much you get the special power for Shadow at the end of the game, and that's all you have to do is hit him with the special power. And if you ever play the game, I'll let you figure out the pattern of how you have to do it. It's not that hard. It's just you got to be quick.
Yeah, it took me a couple times to get the hang of it, but I eventually did. It wasn't too bad. The only thing that was irritating was I wish they would have had a save point, like an official save point for the game, like just a little bit later, like maybe after some of the exposition before you get to the final boss, because it would kill me, and then I would end up trying to go back to my save point. It's like, oh, I got to sit through all this talking again.
Yeah, it's always the fun part, isn't
There's
it?
no real way to speed through it.
No, but
But
that's the
that's
joy.
fine. That's minor.
That's your punishment for sucking at the game.
But I didn't
Um,
suck at the game. I did pretty good.
Actually, yeah. I mean, you finished it before I did, but I was recording it, and if you want to watch that, it's at YouTube / Retrotopia.
Yeah.
Notable moments in the game. I've wrote down three in our notes here. The first one being stranded at sea. That is a long slog.
It was so boring.
Yeah, and it's okay. So after you're done the Incan ruins, you find the gold ship. You do a little cutscene on the gold ship, and you get attacked by what's called a big fish called Riverson, and it destroys the gold ship. And you and Kara end up on this raft, this makeshift raft, and it kind of goes through. This is where Kara gets her biggest character development.
Yeah.
But you're right. It is like what about 20 minutes
It's pretty long.
of yeah, and everything is on a timer. So as long as you set the next instance off, the timer will count or won't count down. So you got to talk to Kara like 3 times or
Yeah.
hit the fish, don't hit the fish because she refuses to eat and the fishes are pretty and stuff like that. And then
Yeah.
eventually she's like, I'm going to eat the fish because I'm so hungry. I've learned my lesson. No.
Yeah, that part was really like I mean, it's fine. I understand it that it was good. It really was good exposition because that was like you said how Kara develops as a character from this prissy princess into someone who's a little bit more understanding of their situation and maybe a little bit more functional as a member of your party. But getting there is like a slog because you either have to talk to her at a certain point or you have to interact with a certain something on the raft or you just have to sit and wait.
Yeah. And then it goes through different little days. It keeps telling you how many days you've been at it.
Yeah.
Then there's one moment these sharks show up and they start circling you, and then you're like, well, this is where the big fight's going to happen. I'm going to kick some shark ass. Then they just disappear, and it's like, oh my god, they're leaving us alone. They only eat when they're hungry. And then she has her big moment. I should too.
Yeah. That was like kind of a weird way to have that epiphany, but whatever.
Yeah.
I won't be too hard on it.
Well, it's back in the '90s. This is how we did the character development.
Yeah.
All right. Anything else on the raft?
No, let's get off this goddamn raft or else I'm
Yeah.
going to feel
Well,
like
we
I'm
haven't
stuck
been
on
on
it
it for
again.
20 minutes yet.
Yeah, we should talk about 20-minute silence for the raft.
Yeah, there we go. The next kind of long cutscene, not as long, but still fairly long, was the Nazca Desert drawing,
Mm-hmm.
where you have that big bird with the stones in the specific location that match up to the constellation.
I didn't have as big a problem with that. That scene went pretty quick,
Well,
actually.
yeah, it's
For me.
definitely quicker than the raft scene, but it's still longer than it needs to be because you
Yeah.
have to wait for people to walk to locations. You got to talk
Yeah.
to everybody who's on all sides of this gigantic bird, and uh, like you said, not a bad scene, but it's just one of those ones. If you miss that floating ghost down in the bottom corner there for 45 minutes, it could take you about 45 minutes to finish.
Yeah, that's true.
And a couple of spots in this game, I forgot what I was supposed to do, and this was one of them. And then I finally just did a big circle of the map, and I found that little ghost, and you chase him up, and he sets off the next part of the cutscene.
Yeah, deserts are rough in games, I'd say.
Yeah, but this
This
actually,
one's not horrible, but
No, this one takes me to actually my favorite level of the game, the Sky Palace or
Yeah, the Sky
the
Palace
Sky
was
Garden.
cool.
Sorry, Sky Garden.
Yeah, Sky Garden. Yeah, that was a cool one.
Yeah. Yeah. So not so bad. The other one, long cutscene that again is meant for character development, was the long walk from the Seaside Palace to wherever the hell you end up, and I can't remember.
Seaside Palace. Is that
It's the one that leads to Moo. After you finish Moo, everybody has to walk that underground cave, and then
Oh yeah.
shows
Yeah.
up as Riverson doing the Morse code. He's like, go, 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 go. And
Yeah,
he's
but
like,
there were some enemies in there, weren't there? They
nope,
at least broke it up a little bit.
no, there wasn't any enemies in that one.
Oh, never mind.
Like the Seaside Palace, yes, but this long path after you finish Moo, no, it was
Oh,
just a
right.
cutscene because you're eating the mushrooms and crap like that.
Oh, yeah, the mushrooms. That was like another Kara moment. Usually seems to have something to do with food and how gross the food is because
Yeah,
they're out, kind of roughing it on this adventure.
yeah, and you come out at the Angel Palace, and the Angel Palace kind of has a neat level or the next neat level.
Yeah.
It's the one with the puzzle rooms, but we'll get into that in a minute. Any other moments in this game that just really stood out to you, good or bad?
Um. Hmm. No, not really. I mean, there was another long kind of not scene, but when you're at that water village or whatever on the floating rafts. Not when you're stuck on the raft, but there's also a town uh, that's like a bunch of interconnected rafts. That one seemed I had a little bit of trouble advancing. That was one point that came to mind when I mentioned before that sometimes I had trouble either doing the right thing or talking to the right person to advance the story.
Well, that one's kind of fucky because I forgot how to advance it as well. I had to actually look it up because I was kind of stuck there as well.
Yeah, I think you just have to like talk to everyone in the room.
No, you remember you have to open up your inventory where that letter shows up.
Oh fuck, that's right. Yeah, there's
Yeah,
that
see,
too.
you don't remember until you play the game, and then it eludes you until you look it up, and you're like, "Oh fuck, I'm dumb."
Well, no, there was the letter, but then there was a point where you had to talk to like everyone's back in the room that you're renting or whatever, the whatever place that you're staying. And I think that's where like Lily and who's the dude Lance decide to stay behind, but you have to like go do like a round robin and make
Oh
sure that you
yeah,
talk to everyone. And I think I missed talking to one of the fucking characters, and then I ran around for another 15-20 minutes and then went back and talked to everyone again.
well, everybody wants to talk to you. That's on you, not them.
They're so boring. I didn't want to talk to them. I just wanted to go fight more monsters.
So yeah, the water Mio wasn't too bad for me.
Oh
I
yeah, that was a
died. I
dumb
died on
town
that
name.
game though.
Watermia.
Well,
Watermere.
Radamandamere.
Yeah, it's like someone needed a name for a village that was on the water and they just ran out of time. We're
Well,
gonna call it I don't know Watermia.
man, it sounds like someone who has never looked at a map before.
Yeah, that's what you call a town that's on the water, right? I mean, Watertown would have worked just fine.
We have a water town in Ontario.
Yeah, we got a water town here in Wisconsin too. But
There
I
you go.
think, yeah, it would have been just fine if there was a water town also in Illusion of Gaia.
Yeah,
But
that is true, but this is ancient times. It's a different language.
I think we ought to petition our local, like our state or your province government, and have them change Watertown to Watermia.
There you go. All water towns will be changed to Water Mia when I am king of the world. All
Yes.
right. Let's get into the gameplay. Excuse me. Let's get into the gameplay and controls.
Yes.
Oh man, take it away, Sam. While I sit here and cough.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a top-down action RPG if you think along the lines of Zelda Link to the Past. But it has some elements where every screen that you're on, whether it be a floor of a dungeon or um, I mean, you're in some mines, there's some kind of like side-scrolling looking portions where it's almost I don't know if you'd call it side scrolling, but it's not necessarily top down all the time. I'm thinking of the mine, not the mines. There was a cavern where you're supposed to try to find this artist at one point, and then like the pyramid is the big one
Well,
where it kind of
it
goes
still
top down.
follows the same style. It's just you're in a more narrow of a path. You can still move up like to the top and bottom of the screen.
Yeah, but it still just kind of felt more,
No, I get what you're
a
saying.
little
Like
bit
it's
more
more,
side scrolly, a little
yeah.
more like 2.5D or whatever.
But I
Like,
mean, what are you going to do with the Great Wall of China there? Expand it out so that you can have a big square room?
oh yeah, the Great Wall was another one that I actually really liked. That how the levels would go, you know, instead of being top down grid fashion, you know, like a Zelda dungeon, they went kind of linear with it a little bit, or in the case of, well, in the Great Wall, you're jumping down levels too. You have to like kind of jump down off the wall and then work your way back up. And then the same thing with the pyramid. When you have Shadow, he can turn into a puddle and like seep through the cracks of the floor.
Yeah,
I thought that was really awesome, and that actually was like a not that it was overly challenging, but it was just a fun puzzle to try to figure out all the pieces of hieroglyphs that you needed to find. But it was a challenge to try to get your way through the maze, and then also defeat all the enemies. Because I think where I was going before was like you beat all the enemies on the screen, and it gives you either a better attack stat, better defense stat, or some hit points.
yeah, and as you're defeating them as well, you get these gems.
Yes.
I don't know what I'm choking on, but I'm choking on something. Anyways, you get these gems, and they actually give you lives. After you get 100 of them, you'll get an extra life. So if you do die, you don't go as far back as your save point. You just kind of go back to the beginning of the room you're in.
Yes. Yeah, I like that. That was nice. Although
Yeah,
sometimes you'd end up on like kind of an awkward point where it took you a long time to get 100 gems, and it sets you like really far back. It all depended, I think, when you crossed over to 100 gems is when it would set you
yeah.
back to. So yeah, it was there was one point where I was dying, and it was setting me like really far back to the point where I was like, well, I'm just going to turn the game off and back on again because this is dumb.
Well, it sends you back to the last room or last level you entered, like where you entered that area you died. So, like when I was in Moo, I didn't want to use my herbs to
Yeah.
waste them. So I would just, if I was low on health, I would just die, and that's how I actually got through the. Think until I got to the first dark space, so I could heal. I just wasted like 3 lives, so I didn't have to use a herb.
Yeah, and I really like the save points. The save points looked really
Yeah, the dark spaces around. That's where you transform into Frieden or Shadow.
yeah, that was another element that looked really really ActRaiser, really had that like quintet signature on it. But I really appreciated that you could heal at all the save points and then save.
Oh, it
And
became
they were fairly plentiful.
yeah, and it came part of the strategy was to kind of circle back and grab a quick heal up and a save before you carried on to the next level, so that or next area, so that you at least didn't go in half dead.
Yeah, I would find actually that sometimes I would go back to find a save point and then check the map and see, oh wow, I forgot like one enemy. I better go find it and get whatever power up I'm due in this floor or whatever.
Oh,
So
I always would go. Like, there's not one enemy in that game that survived my wrath.
did you end the game with absolutely full health?
Yep.
Oh, I didn't. I think I had like one half of a little circle that I probably would have gotten, but I probably missed like one bat
I
somewhere or something.
well, I had the one half of the circle left as well, but I think you don't get it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that is the max health. I'd have
Well,
to
then I
double
guess I got
check
the
that.
max health. Cool. I thought for sure that it would be like two rows of full circles, just like how if you get all the heart pieces in Zelda, you have like two full rows of hearts. But apparently not.
No, I'm gonna have to look that up, but I've always had one half health. Maybe I'm missing one somewhere, but
Yeah.
I don't think I am. I think I got them all, and I beat up every enemy I could find.
There were a couple sneaky places where there were some additional items that you wouldn't be able to get unless you talk
Waited in
to.
line.
Yeah, that line was so dumb. That was another one.
We'll get into that.
Yeah,
Let's
well,
save that for the levels.
but yeah, this is a Zelda, like you basically you level up and you don't have like a level like 1, 2, 3, or 4. You
No,
basically clear the enemies on the map. I think I've described this like 3 different times now, but like
yeah,
you
but
clear
three
the
different
enemies on the
ways
map,
really sinks it in.
you get a boost. And I really like that because it gave you a reason to really explore and scour through every part of every dungeon and find
Well,
every
yeah,
last
there's no
enemy.
reason to avoid enemies except for you're running to a dark space to heal to come out to beat the crap out of the enemies.
Right. Yeah, I really appreciated that. And I don't know, it must be I'm pretty sure this is something that my brain enjoys is playing a game that you have to be thorough and find everything.
But you
Um,
just naturally like I don't think there's anywhere in this game that you don't just run into what you're going to find. Like there's no real secret path that the game doesn't guide you to.
right. Yeah, and I appreciated that. I really liked how instead of trying to find these like secret heart pieces, not that I'm knocking on that for Zelda, but if you want to have more health in Zelda, you really have to go side questing and really look around and try to find some of these hidden heart pieces or some that are locked behind challenges and things. Uh, I like that it was just kind of linear, and if you play the game to the fullest, you'll end up rewarded for it.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I liked is the RPG elements were really the towns and the villages where you talk to people and kind of get the next part of the story. Then it guides you off to the next dungeon or level that you have to defeat, and then you come back, more story, repeat, and you just keep doing that over and over and over again. And the story never got old as it went along. It never felt stale. At least to me, I know that you just wanted to beat people up, but I really enjoyed the story of this game.
Yeah, it's not a bad story. Just at some points, it kind of dragged down a little bit for me. But um,
Uh,
I
you're like my
mean,
kid. Go play Roblox.
Roblox. I deleted that. That game sucks. Um, but I mean, I will say here's a nice thing I'll say. And I didn't not that I don't like this game, but I think if I'm gonna give a hot take, I might like this game better than Link to the Past.
It's 1A, 1B for me right now. Like,
Yeah.
I have to play Link to the Past again, but even Link to the Past isn't my favorite Zelda game.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean,
And
it's not mine either, but I didn't also grow up with it. I didn't have it as a kid, so I'm playing some of these games late, but
yeah.
I have played Link to the Past, and I do think I like this one a little bit better.
All right. All right. I'm going to accept that. I'm going to allow it
Okay.
without yelling at you,
Okay. Okay.
fucker. Thing I didn't like about this game when it comes to RPGs is it's very, like you said, it's very linear. So there's not a lot of exploration off the beaten path to do. Most of your secrets are found in towns when searching pots and talking to people to find the red gems and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's probably the only knock I'd really give this game is I would have liked maybe some side quests or something just to kind of take you away from the story for a bit and just have a straight up extra dungeon or something.
Yeah, and there's no overworld. It's just if you leave a town, it'll say like pop up a menu and say, "Where do you want to go from here?" and it'll give you like at most 3 options. And then your party just kind of does that little mode 7 walk across the map. But
I
there's
love the mode 7 walk across the map
do
though.
you really? I was like,
It's just I
it's
mean
fine.
there's like honestly with this game there was no point to have like in between town levels just walk to the next town because I guess the big thing is all the monsters are in dungeons or mountains or
Right.
monuments or whatever you want to call it. But I didn't feel that really took away from the game. It was their way to do it. It's the same as those games that like Final Fantasy Tactics that has you walk across a map with dots.
Yeah, yeah. I guess so. But
The only thing I would knock this game for a little bit is if you actually wanted to go all the way back to the beginning for any god awful reason, you had to go through every level menu that you did on the way to where you are.
yeah, I did think about that because I didn't go back to the beginning. Once I progressed to the next set of things, I basically didn't ever go back. And I was even wondering, I was thinking about today, like, could you really go back to the beginning if you like painstakingly uh, pick the earliest option of each of the menus? Would you eventually end up back at the beginning?
Oh, you have to end up back at or be able to end up back at the beginning because you have to go back to find the red jewels if you missed them. Like it
Yeah.
gives you the opportunity to find them all, right?
Yeah, I guess so. Just
And
I would never do that because that would have been just too much of a pain in the ass. I know I didn't get anywhere near all the red jewels. I think I got enough to get the best whatever of the main upgrades, but I didn't get his like mega secret or whatever the hell
No,
it was.
I got enough to get. I think Shadows just extra power. That was about it.
Yeah, and I don't even know what was Shadow's extra power because I don't
It's
even know
just.
if
I
I've
think
used
it's
it.
just extra strength. Just makes him a little bit stronger. There makes it
Okay.
easier to beat the final boss.
But it wasn't like an extra attack. Yeah, I did
No.
get that because I think I got the last red gem or two that I needed in the Tower of Babel. And I did actually go back and talk to him because I remembered that there was one other thing that I probably, as I was kind of like gauging where I was at the game and like, okay, there's probably just a little bit left. If I can find like one or two more of these red gems, maybe I can get whatever this last thing is before the end, but I'm definitely not going to get the secret. So I made a point to go back and leave the Tower of Babel.
Yeah. I found enough to get the, like you said, not the secret, but just the Shadows power. And once I got the gem inside there, I was like, maybe I should go back and look for them. And then I looked at, thought about it. And I was like, I really have stopped caring by this point because I'm almost at the end. I just kind of want to get it done and, render it and upload it to YouTube because I was recording it. So no, I didn't go back. I should have. I should have gone and done the secret there, but maybe someday. I still have the save file, so there's still time.
Yeah, but it's going to be like a pretty long slog to, I don't know. I just think, and then the other thing that always is tough for me when it's, collect, 50 of these or whatever. Sometimes you don't know which ones you got and which ones you didn't. So really you do have to go back to the
Yeah.
beginning and
Well,
fine tooth comb through the whole game.
there is a method to it. I mean, I talked to him, see how many jewels I have, and I know the ones I missed are in towns, they're not in dungeons. So from there,
Yeah,
it's just
I
going
suppose.
back to the towns, and there you have to have some inkling of, oh, I don't remember picking up one in that town, and I don't know. It's doable. Take some time.
Well, do
Probably
it
won't
then.
do it. Yeah,
Do it
do it.
then.
Do it.
It's so doable.
All right, so let's move on to the graphics and the art. You already started with the Mode 7 graphics on the overworld. I like Mode 7 honestly,
Yeah,
and
I think mode sevens are fun.
for a
It,
world of non 3D, Mode 7 really kind of puts you in that 3D world, even though it was flat world.
yeah, I mean it was fine. When I when they walked to the next town the first time, I was like, oh, mode seven, cool. But other than that, it was like whatever.
And sitting there on the couch eating your potato chips and
Yeah.
oh,
Oh,
Mode 7
no, mode seven. That's pretty cool. Yeah.
as you open your Mountain Dew.
Yeah.
Oh man, Sam, come on, you're just letting yourself go.
Yeah, I kind of am.
Yeah,
Um.
everything else in this game though, the pixel graphics, very good looking for its time,
Oh, very. Yeah.
1994. Yeah, 94 is when it came out, so very good looking for its time. I'd compare it and say it's as good looking as any game that came out in that year.
Oh, even better, I'd say, because I mean, maybe it's biased because I had to emulate this, and I don't think this is available anywhere unless you have an original cartridge. You pretty much have to emulate it, unfortunately. Um, but I played it on the Steam Deck, and the screen on the Steam Deck is crisp. It is very nice looking. Um, but the graphics and the bright colors and everything popped really well. And
Do you put a CRT filter on when you play?
no, I don't believe I have one. I know I can
Like,
set it, but
yeah,
I don't
if
usually.
you're playing a pixelated game, putting that CRT filter on just makes it look so much better. Because
Really?
I have an emulated copy on my SNES Classic
Yeah.
for the mini there, and it comes with the CRT filter built into the original software, and it just changes how the game looks. It looks so much better with the CRT filter on.
Oh, I thought it looked great without too, though. I
Oh
mean, it
yeah,
was just
that like
really.
just imagine that, but better,
I mean, I really enjoyed the
better,
way better. I mean, I have put the CRT filter on, and I usually
better.
I usually turn it off, but it does it. Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
well, it
really
works.
want the experience, yeah, CRT filter.
Um, Super Nintendo kind of holds up pretty well, but if you're ever playing a PlayStation 1 game on that emulator, put the friggin' CRT filter on. It changes everything.
Yeah, I guess it cuts some of the ugly.
Well, yeah, just the way just the way the raster lines or the fake raster lines just kind of make it look better. Like, there's pictures online that you look at the difference between a pixelated picture and a CRT pixelated picture, and you'll notice a difference.
Yeah.
Um, something else I found out about this game, since I'm kind of getting us off topic now because CRT filter is better, but the towns are well populated, like with just random people that you could talk to that really had no effect on the story.
Oh
I
yeah,
like that. I
yeah,
thought
they
it was
really are.
great for the size of these towns are fairly small, and they really do make it feel lively, especially like when you get to Euro City there, which is a fairly large town, and they have people in the market buying stuff.
Yeah, that place was cool. And did you notice there was like a version of fast travel because it was a big town? You could like use the ramps to sprint the length of the town, pretty
Yeah,
much.
and
Yeah,
that was a nice touch.
yeah. I did. I liked this. I thought it was really cool. There's a lot of people in the towns, and they usually have something pretty unique to say. There's not a lot of people in the towns because they needed something in the town, and they all basically say the same thing. I'm looking at uh, like Breath of Fire. Um, the people are useless.
Yeah, they fucking are.
Yeah, they barely say anything, and even I mean limitations. Obviously, it's not not to say that these games are bad, but like some of the earlier, like if you're looking at like a Final Fantasy or a Pokemon, Pokemon especially, like there's a lot of people in the towns. They say some pretty useless shit.
Oh god, yeah. I'm playing Pokemon Red, or I was. I've kind of taken a bit of a hiatus from it, but yeah, the people in the town are goddamn useless.
I like shorts. They're comfy and easy to wear.
Yeah,
It's like the famous like first youngster you battle or whatever.
fuck. Oh man. All right. I got nothing left to say on graphics and stuff like that, but I'm going to say one thing about the music and the sound effects. The music in this game is top tier.
It's very good. Yes.
Composed by Yasuhiro Kawasaki. Of I don't know any other thing he did. I looked him up, and like he
Doesn't really
wasn't.
have a doesn't have a footprint
No, it's just
really.
looking him up on his Wikipedia, which the only one I can find is in French. Um,
Why?
he's credited. I don't know. He's credited with Illusion of Time, Sim Tower, Zoids, Super Producers, which I don't never heard of, Cooking Mama, which on
Oh,
the
Cooking
DS,
Mama.
yeah, and
Yeah,
Babysitting Mama,
I've played Cooking Mama.
yeah. So it's not a lot. He only has 10 credits to his name, according to this Wikipedia.
Yeah, Cooking Mama's a pretty fun game.
Oh, it is. It's fun and repetitive.
It is, yeah. But
Other than that, no, like the music he did in this game was just absolutely outstanding. From the first song all the way to the last song, it just fits the tone very well.
I was really, I really liked the song that plays at the end, right before you go to the final boss, as you're like riding up the elevator and then talking to those spirits.
Oh yeah, it.
That was a good one. I hope you put that in somewhere.
We're talking the music. Sound effects in the game are just sound effects. I'm not going to say anything positive or negative about them.
Although they
Um,
do sound very, I not that I grew up with these games, but they felt familiar because I had played ActRaiser, so they're very quintet. If you play more than one quintet game, you'll notice
yeah, they
the
reuse
similarities.
assets. Like if you play Soul Blazer, you'll notice like a link between ActRaiser and Illusion of Gaia.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, I
Like
think I
not in
saw a couple screenshots of Soul Blazer, and it's
well,
like,
I'm not talking like an official link, but you'll see like the text is the same they use in Illusion of Gaia,
yeah.
and some of the music and sound is same as they use in ActRaiser because that game came in between the two, right?
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
it's just what I noticed when I first played. It was kind of neat that they kind of don't stray away too far from what's worked.
Yeah, and it does work for sure.
Yeah. Um. Yeah, that's all I got for the music. The controls in this game were just I like them. Very easy to use. One button to hit, one button to spin your flute around.
Yeah, I think I could have used a button. What was it for? I didn't like double tapping the D-pad to run. I could have used like they had unused buttons that could have been you could hold down for running. I think it was is one detraction I would take from the controls.
Maybe. I guess I'm so used to the double tap for running, I don't even notice anymore. But yeah,
Well, anytime you needed to change direction, you had to then double tap it again to get yourself going again.
or do the slide or yeah,
Yeah,
like
I
the
don't know.
slide attack there, and you're like right beside the enemy, and you have to double tap and hit the attack button really quick.
Oh yeah, I suppose we kind of glossed that over. Like Will gets some pretty good abilities, and the slide attack is one of the best ones
Yeah,
because it really like, especially towards the end of the game when you have your attack built up,
well,
you
he's
slide
weak.
into an enemy and it just wipes them out.
Yeah, he's weak with his flute there. Like he's the flautist is hitting people with the pink flute.
Yeah,
Uh, that sounds dirtier than I meant it to, but yeah. So this slide attack is pretty much the only way you can kind of take out certain enemies that otherwise will cause you issues.
yeah,
Like when you're in, was it fuck? What's the name? Anchor Wat. There's these
yeah,
purple-headed enemies that go around these pillars, and if you use Will's slide attack, you can take them out in one shot if you do it right. Otherwise, you're sitting there and they speed up every time you hit them. So now you're playing the guessing game of when they're coming around to hit them again.
yeah. Those were pretty annoying, and then so were those. Angkor Wat had some really annoying enemies. There was when you're outside of the temple, there's those like alien looking guys that have the heads that extend.
Yeah,
And you have to hit the head 3 times before it retracts back, which can be kind of difficult. You have to position yourself just right. And then once the head explodes, like the body chases you
oh god, out of context, that does not sound right.
when the head explodes.
You have to hit the head 3 times for it to retract.
Oh yeah. You gotta bop that head a couple times if you want it to go down and retract. You gotta take care of it.
That might be the preview clip.
There we go. That works.
Yeah. Uh, fuck, my brain just completely wiped out what we were talking about. But I'm back. I'm back. Don't worry. So, going back to the controls there, the other attack Will does is the first attack he does is the charge up, and then he just lunges forward.
Yeah.
The second attack is the slide attack, and the third attack is the windmill get over the slight ramp uh, thing that apparently hurts enemies, but I've never used it for that.
It does. There was a couple times when I launched myself over the ramp and there were enemies on the other side, and he just like
Oh
plowed
yeah,
through
and the
all of them.
pyramids, yeah,
Pyramid, and then like I think when you first have to use that is that gosh, what is that place called? The
Great Wall of China.
no, the one where the Mountain Crest Temple or whatever, where it's like the vines that you're
You
running
you,
around
you
on.
literally said it, the Mountain Crest Temple.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, I was looking at it. I found it. But yeah,
Oh, okay.
that's the one where you have like the vines that you're running on, and there's a couple places where you have to like jump and then he hops, and it's kind of cool how that all fit together sometimes, and especially in the sky runes too, jumping over. I liked the sprinting and using the ramps to launch yourself was kind of cool.
Yeah, that was a neat little addition to the game. So Frieden has two attacks, right? No, three attacks. Two, three.
Yeah, he had a really oh yeah, he
You
had like a
charge up.
charge attack.
Yeah, he charge up and he shoot a little ball out, and then when you get the potion to power that up, when it hits an enemy, explodes, and it does like this spiral outwards of the, I guess, discharge of that explosion.
Yeah, it's cool. Like pinwheels out once it hits an enemy.
Yeah, and it's very useful in the sky, or not the sky temple. The fuck, now I forgot the name. Mount Crest
Yeah, the Mount
Temple.
Crest. Yeah, those like floating skulls that are all over the place. Like,
Yeah,
fuck a floating skull. Honestly, like, God,
yeah,
any sort of like floating head type of enemy can go die.
yeah, and that's what Mount Crest is known for is floating skulls. Second attack is more of a defensive thing where you charge up and you hit like the same combination you hit from Will to do the tornado attack, except for
Hmm.
this one puts out these shields around him for a few seconds.
I didn't use that one really. That
Never
was
used it.
yeah, well, because I also found the charging up Will's little tornado sprint thing to be really fucking annoying too.
It
So I
was
didn't.
annoying, especially when for some reason you didn't go the direction you pressed,
Yeah, it's like, oh shit, I'm going back that way.
or not even moving at all there, and you're just spinning and like in spot. So
Yeah.
you have to stop and start again and charge all over, and fuck that.
Yeah, I didn't
Uh,
I didn't love the mechanic of trying to charge that thing up. I think
yeah.
they could have made that a little bit easier.
Well, I didn't write down the attacks with these guys. Was there another one for Frieden, or is those?
Yeah, he had like a if you jumped off of something and then attacked, he
Oh
would like
yeah,
slam down and make an earthquake. That
that
was
was
kind of
used
cool.
once.
Yeah, I actually used it. Oh, did I use it on the mummy? No, I don't think so. But it was useful for what it was used for in Angkor Wat, but other than that, like it wasn't. Yeah, I
Yeah,
didn't use it for anything.
and then yeah, after you used it in Anchor Wat, there, I never used it again. Like I used it
No.
when I first got it to see what it did, and then that was it.
Yeah, I think it was specifically for getting through or getting all the enemies in Angkor Wat.
Yeah. Finally, you got Shadow. His only attack is kind of well, it's not really an attack; it's an item, and it just lets him liquefy through floors in the pyramids. The only
Yeah.
place you can use it.
And his basic attack extends, I think, further than Friedan's sword and especially Will's little stupid flute. But
Yeah, and he's stronger than both of them as well.
yeah, that was fun. It really felt like you were you had gotten something that was going to help you get through the rest of the game. It was like getting supersonic or getting um I don't know, like a Mario star or whatever. Like you really
Yeah,
felt very powerful with this
and then during the
weapon.
last boss encounter, he gets that Firebird there. I really wish they would let you have used that for at least a level so that you could feel godlike before you took on the final boss.
Oh yeah, that Firebird thing was cool too.
Yeah, it's like, here's the most powerful attack in the game you get to use once.
Yeah, but it is very, very good and made that boss not be as horrible as it could have been.
Yeah, well, that would have been fun trying to dance around and hit that thing. Um, so
Yeah,
yeah, that's pretty much the attacks you get through the entire game. We've discussed what's useless and what's not.
yeah, we sure have.
Because yeah, we sure have. And I guess now we just can talk about the dungeons before we wrap this up.
Yeah, we've talked about some of them, but what was your favorite?
I'd go with the Sky Ruins myself. I love like the Sky Ruins have the top level and the bottom level, and you jump off the side and you end up on the bottom, and then it's like the mirror image,
Yeah.
different enemies, but you also have to like knock these pillars that will block your path on one side or be down.
Yes. Yeah.
It was a fun puzzle, not too hard. You had to go through 4 different levels to get these orbs to make the path in the middle to fight the boss, but that's where you get Frieden.
Yeah, and I like how there was that hub
Oh
in
no,
the
sorry, you
middle.
get Frieden before that. Never
Yeah,
mind.
you do, but there was like a hub in the middle of it, and then there's like four distinct little like mazes or puzzles, and then like you said, you flip them, you jump off, and then you end up on like the negative side of it, which was really cool. But yeah, I just like that there were four distinct puzzles, and you didn't have to. I don't think there was any item or anything that carried over into any of the other ones. It was basically just like four really cool self-contained little puzzles to get
Yep.
these orbs that you
And
needed.
once you got the orbs and you killed all the enemy, you just go back to the center area, drop the orb off, go into the next stage or next puzzle, repeat the process, and do it 4 times total.
Yeah, I liked that one, and then I think the other one it would be probably a cross or a tie between either the Great Wall of China. I thought was pretty fun, but I think the pyramid edges out uh, Great Wall of China because it was a different format because you were as gosh, why do I keep forgetting the name of the freaking spirit
Shadow.
thing? Shadow. As Shadow, you have to like drip through the floor, and that was a way to like you were running through and looking like, oh, did I drip through that floor or not? I don't know. And then it took me a while to get all the hieroglyphic pieces, but there were like 6 pieces that you needed, and the challenge was fun because it was like you know oh, I missed this part, and then to try to figure out how to get over there. Either you were in the right spot, or you had to go up back through another door and jump to another point. It was I thought that one was challenging and
All
not
right,
in a bad way.
that was a great level, and you're on a great part right now because this is where we can bring up the two mentioned things, one by
Oh
Zodiac
yeah,
and the one we mentioned before. So before you get to the pyramid, you find this native village of starving people who come out there, and they're going to eat you. So that's
yeah,
what it is. You're tied up and everything. And right before that, Kara's pig from the palace shows up, and it's fucking hilarious because this pig shows up like not even 5 minutes before. And then all of a sudden, the pig's standing there. Nobody thinks, let's eat the pig. Let's eat the people. That's their first thought, these
right.
cannibals. And then the pig just like Leroy Jenkins into the fire.
Yeah, I was like, holy fuck!
Yeah,
And then
just
you see like like the pig turns like black or
like
charred or
crispy.
whatever from the fire, and then it's like everyone's sad, but like I just picture all the characters like sobbing as they're eating their pig friend that's been with you for the past
No, they're
week.
so good.
Where do you
Oh,
pick up the pig as part of your party, but he's just kind of hanging out, and it's like,
it's
um,
literally at the end of the town of Euro there when Neil becomes the president of that Rolex company there. He's like,
yeah,
hey, somebody showed up, is asking to see you, and it's a pig.
oh right, yeah,
Then you
it's like,
take off to this native village, and 5 minutes later, the pig has killed itself.
yeah, but it's funny because the pig wasn't with you that long. It didn't have any point. It's just a
No,
pig, but like I still felt like shocked that.
like the first time you see the pig is in the original first level, like the tutorial level in the castle there.
Oh, that's right. The
And
pig
the
is in
pig,
there
yeah,
too. That's
he
why.
drops off a key or something like that.
Yeah.
And that's the introduction to the pig. Other than that, you don't see him again until he shows up in Eurotown and then kills himself 5 minutes later.
Yeah, but I was trying to remember why I felt that there was so much impact that this random pig sacrificed itself, and
Because the
that was
pig was
exactly
Kara's
why.
best friend, right?
Yeah, he was there since the beginning. He helped you get out of the
Yeah.
castle jail.
And then just disappeared for like 90% of the game and shows back up after traveling the world that you had so much problems. You had to have a fucking airplane, a gold ship,
Mm-hmm.
all this shit to get across the world, and the pig just shows up in Eurotown.
Yep.
It's like, yeah, fuck, swam across the ocean, no problem.
Yeah, just in the nick of time too, so that
Just,
he could sacrifice
yeah,
himself.
just to become a plot point.
Oh man, the
Fuck.
the pig, that poor pig.
Yeah, I mean, respect for throwing yourself in the fire, but I mean, come on.
Yeah, R.I.P. pig.
All right. And the second part, of course, is at the end of the Great Pyramids, after you find all 6 of the hieroglyphs, the jackal shows up.
Oh yeah, fucking
Fuck.
jackal.
So the buildup of this is right at the beginning of the game. Kara's like, my father hired the jackal. That's his symbol on your parent or grandparents' wall. And the whole game, he keeps getting brought up every so often,
I
just to
thought I was
kind
gonna have to
of,
fight him.
yeah, just kind of hint that something's going to happen. And then you finally meet him in the Great Pyramid, and he grabs Kara,
Yep.
threatens you like, do this or else I'm going to kill this bitch. And then I'm going to let you explain what happened because I'm getting hot.
Yeah, I mean, I can't even quite remember because it was so
Oh,
forgettable.
you
But he
don't
just kind of
remember?
dies,
He
right?
does. Like, all it is he's standing there and he has Kara, and a voice from the flute appears, says, play the flute, Will. And
Oh
then so you
yeah,
play the song there, which sets off the trap inside the pyramid, and it lights him on fire and he dies. That's it.
yeah. But he does like burn alive in front of you.
Well, I understand he's no different than the pig because he
Yeah,
showed up at the beginning of the fucking game only to find out right after the native village in the pyramid that he fucking dies without a fight
yeah, and it's just kind of funny because like
in
if
fire.
when he's like that charred like Hulk or like charred husk of a person, you can like go up and interact with the sprite. It's like it's just a burned dude. Oh
Oh,
man,
that
it's
was
like
so disappointing.
yeah, and I think what's her name even says like, oh, that was very upsetting. Like,
Yeah, like, oh, I'm traumatized now, but luckily I ate fish, so I'm good to go.
yeah, she's got fish farts,
Yeah, fuck. Fish
fish and
farts.
mushroom farts, and then
Oh,
this happens.
man. Oh, that was just like in the span of a very short time, like 2 things that, well, one thing that you just kind of wrote off at the beginning of the game, and another thing that they've been hinting at through the entirety of the game, both lead to nothing burgers.
Yeah, it was kind of an yeah. That's where I think maybe the story lost me a little bit. Where it's like you're building up these potentially really cool points, and then you're just kind of letting them fizzle out, and then I'm expected to care about anything else that's going on.
Yeah, I mean, oh god. All right, before we wrap up, I'm just gonna do the spoiler for the when you get all the gems for Gem the Jeweler there.
Yeah, tell me what happens because I'm not
I
going to do
will
it.
tell you what happened. You notice up at the top, I crossed out one of the villains,
I
Solid
did.
Arm.
Yeah.
He's a secret boss. He's the first boss you fight in Soul Blazer, and when you get all the gems, it turns out that Gem the Jeweler is actually this secret boss, and you get a secret boss fight. And if I
Oh,
remember
cool.
correctly, and you don't quote me on this, you remember in Eurotown when you went to the back alley and it's like only certain people can get in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's where you get in when you get all the gems.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Yeah, so you go back there, you do the fight, you beat the guy. I can't remember what you get because it's been a while since I've actually done it. But yeah, it's a nice little touch. A few connections between this and Soul Blazer is this boss, and then a dog named Turbo shows up in what's called the Soul Blazer trilogy. Soul Blazer, this game, and Terra Enigma.
Interesting.
So yeah, it's like I said, nice touch, nice little secret boss. So there's kind of a reward for taking out or getting all the gems.
Yeah, I think that I mean, obviously it's not going to be in the manual. They don't put secrets of that magnitude, I guess, in the game manual, but that's
No,
almost something you need a guide for, like maybe some word of mouth if you knew other friends that played the game, but that's really cryptic and buried. Like the the movement between prior towns or prior dungeons is so clunky that I don't think I would have taken the time to
you have to be a completionist.
yeah. I
That
guess
or like you said, have a guide so on your way you find all the gems as you go.
yeah, and I guess at least you could say that Euro is a pretty good jumping off point for that because it's toward the end of the game. You really didn't have to backtrack that much if you get to get to that speakeasy door or whatever the hell.
Yeah,
um, but still, yeah, it's cool little. I like stuff like that. It's just you need a guide to find that most of the time.
yeah. All right. Before we get into the review portion of this, I'm just simply going to point out three facts I found online.
Yeah,
First one is, as I mentioned before, Kara in the Diamond Coast will tell you there's a dog outside named Turbo. It's a reference to the Soul Blazer dog of the same name. Also shows up in Terra Enigma.
very cool.
One day we'll get into that.
Love a good dog.
There was a lot of cannibal and religious references that were cut in the North American release because we are sensitive.
Well, yeah, and I wondered too if this game didn't get a re-release or it's not on any collections or a remake or anything because of some of that culturally sensitive
Oh,
stuff because
nothing
there is
from
some of it.
Quintet's been remade except for Actraiser.
What's that?
Nothing from Quintet's been remade except for
Right.
Actraiser.
Yeah, but I'm thinking like maybe they just don't think that it's profitable or anything. But not even a re-release. Like you can't just get this
No,
anywhere in a collection even. And I wonder if that's part
it's
of it.
someday. Someday when they run out of new games, they'll just start re-releasing old ones.
Yeah, maybe, but I don't know.
Yeah, and the final thing I found online is the game was originally claimed to be a sequel to Soul Blazer by Enix themselves. So it was actually called Soul Blazer: Illusion of Time,
Interesting.
and then
Interesting.
it was dropped. The Soul Blazer was dropped as it went through development.
Okay.
All
So
right.
does this have like this doesn't share you've played Soul Blazer. Does this share any story elements with Soul
No,
Blazer or they
the
just
Soul
completely
Blazer
dropped it?
trilogy is kind of an unofficial trilogy. The games have tenuous links between each other. So, like I said, things like Turbo the Dog are in all the games.
Yeah.
Other than that, the stories so follow the same theme, but the games are not actually linked in any official capacity.
Okay. Kind of like Final Fantasy and then you get like linkages like Chocobos and
Yeah, something
Biggs
like
and
that.
Wedge and Sid and shit like that. Okay.
All right. So, do you want to cook this pig, so to speak, first,
Yeah,
and do the review?
how do we want to sacrifice this pig, friend?
That just
Um
walks into the fire.
God, that was upsetting. Yeah, should we get to rating it?
Let's do the review first. Kind of give your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great game. It's if you have means to emulate, whether it's a computer or a Steam Deck or a SNES Mini that got sick and got ROM disease or whatever, it's worth playing. It's a shame that it's not released on anything modern, but I think maybe some of the cultural stuff might keep that from being like a PC game nowadays. Not PC as in personal computer, but politically correct or whatever. But the story's fine. The gameplay is really what hooked me. When I was playing this, I played it straight. I basically didn't touch anything else, and I didn't want to play anything else except for this. So it was very, very fun. I would put it right up there with Zelda. I might even I did say before I like it a little bit better than Link to the Past as far as Zelda likes on the SNES. So it's a great game.
All right. I agree with pretty much everything you said. This story in this game, I know you didn't focus on the story as much as I did.
Yeah.
Really, nah. Really good story. I love the action RPG gameplay. I love the fact there's no random encounters, even though I'm not against random encounters. It just has to fit the game and be
Yeah.
done right.
Yeah.
The music is top shelf. Level design is easy to follow, except for the mountain temple, which
Yeah.
fuck that level. I always get lost in that level.
Yeah, it's weird. We'll give this spoiler if anyone is jonesing to play this game or give it a shot. You use the little what was it, like water or mushrooms or whatever
Uh,
to grow
the
the
pot.
whatever, like water pot or whatever to grow the connections, and I didn't understand that. And once I did, then I was like, okay, well,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. So yeah, the level design besides Mountain Temple, the character development in the game, I love. Every character kind of had their little arc, except for Eric. Eric can just fuck right off.
Yeah, he didn't do
Boss
anything.
fights were challenging, all beatable though,
Hmm.
and transforming between the three different characters really kind of changed up the gameplay on the fly. So just everything about this game is a positive for me. I don't have any real negatives about it, except for the one I mentioned earlier, which was oh man, I don't remember what I mentioned. Oh yeah, not a lot of exploration outside of the dungeons.
Yeah,
That's
but
like the only mark this game has against it.
yeah, linear to a fault.
Yeah, and I don't mind that. I don't mind a
No.
good on the rails game that's not Final Fantasy 13.
Oh fuck. Yeah, that we'll eventually get to that game, but that game, I think that game ruined games for me for a few years.
So, man, speaking of ruining my night, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna give this for a score, Sam?
I'm not going to ruin your night with this one. I'd give it a solid 9.
9. I
Yeah.
guess if you didn't like it,
Yeah, what are you giving it?
I'm giving it a straight up 9.5.
Yeah.
Like I said, the one thing I'm going to knock it for the one mark for the lack of exploration, but everything else in the game just resonates with me. As soon as I started it again, I was so just right back into it. It takes
Yeah.
seconds to get into this game.
Yeah, it's fun. A couple of the control things kind of irritated me, but other than that, and then the story being a little slow at times,
Yeah,
it's very good.
there was nothing about the controls that I couldn't just overcome with sheer will and power.
Will
Yeah, man,
Will and his flute, just overcome it with your flute.
his pink flute.
Yes. Well, we also, in addition to rating the game out of 10, we add it to our Retrotopia patented tier list. Brian, you want to go first? I see you
No,
got
I've
quite a
already
score.
I've already given it the S tier level,
Yeah.
and without your agreement, it will not hit the S tier.
Yeah, I know. That's where like the pressure's on for me. I kind of saw that. I was like, oh,
Don't
S,
fuck
huh?
me over, Sam.
I mean, I was gonna come in here and give it an A tier. Oh man.
I like this game more than I like Super Mario RPG. That's why it's in the S tier.
Do you really?
Yeah,
I do too. I'm gonna put it in the S tier then. I do like it more than I like Super Mario RPG, and we did put that in the S tier. So
yeah.
yes to S.
I'm pretty sure I gave it a higher score than Super Mario RPG, but I'd have to go back and look. I
Yeah,
should start writing those into the spreadsheet. Jesus Christ, I'm dumb. We're
we'll have to go back.
27 episodes in. It's going to take me forever to catch up.
Yeah, you gotta open up each each document and figure out what we gave these games.
Fuck. Or
Oh,
even worse, I have to go listen to the episodes because I deleted the script.
oh God, no.
That would suck. All right,
Yeah.
I'm gonna task somebody in the Discord to do that for me.
There we go.
All right. That's it. That's all for Illusion of Gaia. It's a great game. I love the game. I fucking love it. Someday we're going to talk about Terra Enigma. It's a guarantee that it's going to happen.
It's already on my Steam Deck, buddy.
Oh, yeah. And it is, I don't know. Like, I've discussed this with people before. Terra Enigma and Illusion of Gaia, I guess I'd call 1A, 1B, but I like Illusion of Gaia a little bit better, but I grew up with that, and that's because Terra Enigma wasn't available in North America.
Yeah.
That and the Lion level. If you know, you know.
I don't, but I guess
You'll find out, buddy.
I will
You'll
at some point.
find out. All right, Sam, what are we playing next week?
Next week, we are going to be talking Mario Kart with a special guest. So stick around. And
Very special guest.
Very special.
Very, very like wears a helmet to school special. And he's not even in school. That's how special.
Jesus. All right. All right, everyone. Until next time, have a great week of gaming.